Hi guys, so this is my second video on reacting to mental health. The guy that I'm interested in is Kanye West because he's actually been diagnosed bipolar. Last time I heard about him was that he went off one of his medications and ended up in a spiral, which is very common with people that take medications for bipolar disorder because they end up feeling better, they forget to take their meds, and all of a sudden they're spiraling because of the fact that they get off the medications. So I'm just gonna watch this video. It's called How Should We Talk About Kanye West's Bipolar Disorder. I'm gonna react to it and just give my take on it. I hope you guys are interested. Thanks. So let's get to the video.
Kanye West is one of the most important artists of our generation, but recent events have forced fans to elevate their level of concern for the 43-year-old star. Throughout July 2020, the visionary artist announced the run for president of the United States, a new album, divulged personal details about his wife Kim Kardashian West, and made some questionable remarks about Harriet Tubman.
Well, Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
However, this whirlwind rollout must be looked at in the context of West having bipolar disorder, something he confirmed on 2018's Ye.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I fuck with Ye. See, that's my third part. That's my bipolar shit, nigga, what? That's why God put that on me as age 40. I never been diagnosed till I was like 39 years old and stuff, so put that on me as...
What do you mean by that?
I just want to let you guys know, so typically bipolar disorder starts in their 20s. It usually starts in adulthood, but it seems as though he just been diagnosed in his 40s. It could have been that he was undiagnosed, but based on his success and what's happening now, it seems to be happening later. I just want to confirm that. Let's see. Bipolar disorder. Start at what age? Let's see. Yep. So most cases of bipolar disorder when individuals are age 15, 19, the second most frequent range of onset 20, 24. So I was a little off. It seems that it starts a little bit younger. I was 21 when I had bipolar disorder, and that seems to be pretty much average for many people that are bipolar, and the second most statistic well-driven bipolar people.
Diagnosed with a mental condition.
Bipolar disorder is an illness where you have episodes of depression and episodes of mania, and these two states are at opposite ends or opposite poles, which is where we get the term bipolar disorder.
That's Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist and a mental health expert. She spoke with Genius for some clarity on bipolar disorder.
With depression, you have a low activation state where you can have a low mood, low energy, low motivation to do things. With mania, it's like the exact opposite. You're revved up, lots of energy. And as far as comparing bipolar 1 to bipolar 2, bipolar 1, you have full manic episodes and then depression. With bipolar 2.
So with bipolar disorder, there's various characteristics. For me, it would be lack of sleep. My first initial diagnosis was actually a reaction to Paxil. I became really manic. It's kind of like this drunken feeling. When I first went in, it was like almost, taking alcohol and being buzzed. That's what, to me, bipolar felt like when I had a reaction to Paxil. I'm no longer on that drug, but I just want to state that that's a pretty surefire reason that you might have bipolar disorder. If you're already in an elevated state and you're manic, well, that's a sign of mania. Another symptom was hypersexualization. I was very hypersexualized, even though I was pretty consistent in maintaining composure. I know that I was hyperactive when it comes to sexual intuition. Another option is that you might spend like crazy, and a lot of people make very gregarious decisions when it comes to managing money, finances, relationships, careers, hobbies, passions. All these seems to accelerate when you're bipolar, but when you're having opposite feelings like a really deep depression, these interests totally collide, and you might have suicidal ideations, you might mope, you might sleep more than 12 hours. I slept like, When I was manic and off medication, would be up 24 to 26 hours. Then I would sleep 12 to 14 hours, and then it would repeat over and over when I was pre-medicated. And there are various symptoms, so I'm just gonna look up on Google, and I'll just state various symptoms that you might come across.
Caused a neighboring field to catch fire. As a result, thankfully, firefighters were able to extinguish the flames before they damaged any nearby homes. The homeowner is facing a citation, though, for burning during a burning ban.
So Mayo Clinic seems to be a pretty good site. You know, I also let you know there's two forms of, or actually there's four forms, usually four forms of bipolar. One's bipolar 1, bipolar 2, cyclomythic disorder, and other types. I had bipolar 1 disorder with psychotic features. There's some similarities with that when it comes to schizoaffective disorder, but for bipolar 1, the mania and depression is a lot longer. It's a lot more elevated and de-accelerate, or it's elevated and more in a deeper depression. Bipolar 2 is where it's less frequent and less high and low. Cyclomythic, which I'm not sure, is that you have at least 2 years or 1 year in children and teenagers and many periods of hypomania symptoms and periods of depression. And there's others, but let's just get to mania. Abnormally upbeat, increased activity, exaggerated sense, decreasing for sleep, unusual talkativeness, racing thoughts, distractibility, poor decision making. So that just goes to the fact when you're manic, you are revved up. So when you're revved up, you're having race of thoughts, you're making poor decisions, you make it based on feeling, you make it on kind of like instinct. So basically, if you want to spend money, you spend like crazy. If you're sexually active, you are very sexually active. If you're having a conversation, you talk very rapidly. And when I was younger, I used to work out really aggressively when I was manic. And when I'm depressed, well, it's just totally the opposite. For depressive episodes, there's loss of interest, sad feelings, significant weight loss, either insomnia, either restlessness or slow behavior, fatigue or lost energy, feeling of worthlessness, decreased ability to think, constant thinking about planning. So, like I said before, suicidal ideations is pretty common, being slow in behavior, being lethargic, being depressed, having no energy. That's pretty typical of depression. For me, when I was depressed, like I said, I would sleep 12 to 14 hours, and then I would have suicidal thoughts. I would be in bed all day. I just would be very hopeless. I would make music that would be predominantly very depressing, or I would listen to music that was predominantly very depressing. I would have no energy to actually accomplish or do anything. When I was experiencing the highs and lows, yes, there's medications that make you gain, but with lack of sleep, oversleeping, loss of appetite, more appetite, it really affects your metabolism, and that actually caused me to gain more weight in generally when it came to bipolar, because if you want to maintain a good healthy routine, you want to sleep pretty accordingly. 8 to 10 hours is good, and then you want to get up and eat not aggressively, not too little, but at an appropriate weight that allowed you to stay fit and active. So because of that, it caused extreme factors when it came to my metabolism.
2, you have hypomania with depression.
At the time of West's statement, there was reporting suggesting that he was allegedly in the midst of a bipolar episode, though that was not exactly confirmed by West himself or those around him. But if so, it would cast many of his statements in a different light.
Folks in general are not giving him that same space and compassion and grace, which I really think he deserves as someone who is going through, as we all assume, to be a manic episode.
That's Kiana Fitzgerald, a journalist who has written...
You know, I just want to say Kanye West is pretty religious, but imagine someone with mania. Religion is taken to a new level, and that means that they totally become involved in it. For me, when I was religious, I would think, and I was manic, I would think pretty religiously, and I would believe that God is there for me every single moment, every single day. He's what keeps me a higher power, which makes sense, but I took it to the extreme, and when I'm depressed, I would believe he would limit me, and, you know, you can be the judge on that.
Written about her own bipolar diagnosis in relation to Kanye West from the perspective of someone whose disorder is often misunderstood. In early July, she wrote, quote, "Since 2016, the year I was diagnosed as bipolar, my journal entries and iPhone notes have been flooded with exaltations of God and peppered with mentions of Ye.
Once again,
I heard Kanye West calling
God.
my name," I wrote in one journal in October 2017.
It's very common with bipolar
It wasn't until June
people.
2018 that Kanye would come forward and reveal he was living with the same condition as me.
Mania is, this is a very dangerous thing. And it's also one of my favorite things in the world. The Kanye song that I feel most closely represents mania is...
I hate to say it, when it comes to bipolar disorder, you're either great or you really think life sucks. So with that can have a double-edged sword. People who are manic are more creative, they perform better, but when they're depressed, it's totally opposite. And going through those motions can be really taxing on someone. I experienced mixed episodes, which was a little bit of aggression along with huge mania. I would just be on top of the world, and I would not care for other people's feelings. I would often be very stubborn. I would often be very overconfident. I would take step and overbound myself when it came to other people.
Is without a doubt Ultralight Beam from The Life of Pablo.
I feel a heightened connection with the
I'm gonna
universe
speed it up since
when I'm ramping
I
up.
wanna get this done.
Is like a sprained brain, like having a sprained ankle. And if someone has a sprained ankle, you're not gonna push on him more.
According to Dr. Marks, dealing with someone in the midst of a bipolar episode can be a very difficult experience.
Another problem with mania is having poor judgment. People can make decisions that just don't make any sense or that cause them a lot of problems, but to them it makes perfect sense and they don't see what the problem is.
It's really important for people to understand that on the outside looking in, you might see someone who looks like they need help, but on the inside looking out, you're someone who's trying to help everybody else through your godly state. In Father Stretch My Hands, I think it's part 1, he just... And every time I have an episode, that's my brother always says, you just want to be freer than free.
For West being a celebrity only compounds the problems itself. But at the end of the day, we really don't know whether or not West is going through an episode, and speculation is best left to qualified experts.
You know, on the one hand, we want to be understanding if someone, especially someone who's high profile and putting stuff out there in the media, saying things that seem inappropriate, to take into consideration. I wonder if he's having some kind of episode at the moment. But by the same token, people with the illness don't want everything that they say to be discounted because they have an illness as well.
In now deleted tweets, Kanye alleged that his wife attempted to get him help. Kim, who at first remained silent, later issued a statement saying in part, quote, "Those who are close with Kanye know his heart and understand his words sometimes do not align with his intentions." Kanye later apologized for what he said. And often in these episodes, the people who are most affected are loved ones.
My sister is my pride and joy. She's my number 1. And she is someone that helps me immensely in my life in general, but extremely when I'm going through manic episodes. Yeah, I
gotta be honest with you, like I said in the previous video, it's so important to have supports. Not only that, it's good to have positive supports, people that will, you know, bring you up. You like I said before, you want to look up to leaders. You don't want to look up to your followers. You want to, you know, lift your followers. You want to look up to leaders, like I said before. You want to have family that's close to you, that you can keep in contact, or friends or professionals that will elevate your mood or keep you stable. There's a lot of problems with toxic people, because with toxic people that can be very problematic, and that would actually worsen your relationships, and it's not something that should be done totally. I just want to say that in general, hold on, let me pick this up. Hey, I'll call you back. Oh, I'm doing a video. Alright, bye. So anyway, let's get to it.
I've pushed her before, I've cursed her out, I've said mean things about her, and sometimes she cries, and it's really, really hard. I don't make the same mistakes twice. I tend to make different mistakes when I have episodes. So I'm hoping if I ever do go through something similar, I won't.
I hate to say it, even though if you have positive people, you got to make sure they have your back even when you feel like crap. Whether you treat them like crap, you're going to have these episodes. I mean, it's good to own these when you're in a stable mood, and you shouldn't try to overplay your boundaries when it comes to this, and you're going to lose respect from people that you love most. And it's going to be very hard and challenging for people that go through these motions, because you know you made a mistake when you're stable or depressed. You almost feel like, you know, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I overstayed my boundaries with this person. I can't believe I was mean to them. Things like this can be very problematic when you're not stable and on medications. Most likely some people are able to maintain their composure with medication, and that's why I recommend it.
Do that again because it really crushed me.
One thing Kiana takes issue with is the framing that Kanye is somehow crazy, although West has sought to reclaim the slur in past lyrics.
Mental health, you know, having a nervous breakdown, going to the hospital, and having the stigma of being called crazy, it made me more relatable.
It's really hard to watch people kind of call him crazy. People say that he's this and say that he's ill and all these things, while at the same time not giving him an opportunity to be a human being.
However, one thing many are worried about is West's aversion to taking medication for his disorder, and he's rapped about it frequently.
I don't know if you've seen this, but let's see. Okay, what I believe is, like I said before, guys know people with mental illnesses are not crazy. It's a disorder just like diabetes. It's something that should not be stigmatized. Everyone goes through the emotions of depression, maybe some elevated moods, but if people with mental illness, you gotta learn to respect them. You gotta learn to be non-judgmental, which basically means it's good to listen to them. It's not good to place judgments or decision making on them, or say what is what, or who identifies who is what. You want to be very careful on your label when it comes to people with mental illness, and crazy isn't one of them you want to use.
Bipolar disorder is an illness that requires medication for adequate treatment. So you have to be careful following the lead of someone who publicly says, well, I don't believe in medication, or I don't want to take medication.
I'm not writing Kanye off. I think that he's going to come out of this on the other side, and he's going to look back and be like, shouldn't have said that, should have done this.
So all we can do is respect Kanye's privacy as he works through his mental health in the public eye. I'm Jacques Morel with Genius News, bringing you the meaning and the knowledge behind the music from home.
So my reaction is, this was kind of short. It just hit the scratch. It just scratched the surface of probably what's going on with Kanye. But in a nutshell, people with bipolar disorder are human beings. You gotta treat them like human beings. We are people that aren't defined by our illness. So even if he's a celebrity, doesn't mean you gotta define him as someone that's crazy, someone that isn't relatable. I feel like celebrities and his status, people should be able to relate to him more because of his innuendo with bipolar disorder. It seems to be pretty common to experience what I would claim as someone with bipolar disorder. He is just someone that seems to be extra special because of his celebrity status. I'm not a huge fan of him or his music or the Kanye or the Kardashian family, and I don't follow up on that very much, and I don't follow up on him, but this was kind of interesting to be able to get a side of him that I should have looked in before. I'm only doing this because of my viewers. I'm sure that they might be interested too, but deep down, I'm just don't have the interest in celebrities. So my take on celebrities is like metal or grunge or rock singers like System of a Down, Serj Tankian, Eddie Vedder, things like that. I look up to these celebrities because I like rock music and I like anime, so that's another thing, is that I focus on things that maybe most people don't talk about. I've never seen bipolar disorder in an anime. That would be interesting to see in the future, but I hope you guys like this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell button if you want to hear more videos. Thanks.